Hello, happy holidays. Welcome to the HPTV Podcast, Christmas edition. I'm Mitchell here with Jamie and Steven. We're talking all things Harry Potter television series coming to HBO or Netflix or Peacock at this point, or Prime,
Paramount
Plus, who knows?
Something. It's coming to something.
There's going to be a Harry Potter TV show because they're shooting it. And we're here to talk about all the news updates. New audiobook is out, a few new bits to chat about the show, the world of Harry Potter, and most importantly, let's just talk about this beautiful holiday and how it is used in the books. We're all excited for work to cease and the holidays to commence. And Harry was also as well, because his Christmases were a little poo-poo until he went to Hogwarts. Let's start with a little bit of news. First of all, out of Germany. So we've talked a lot about the Harry Potter in theme parks. I got to visit Epic Universe for the first time a couple weeks ago, and it brought me immense joy.
Was it as epic as the name of the park? Did they name it correct?
Yeah, I'd more question the universe part, but it was wonderful. I don't want to say epic because it's too easy, but there's going to be a new Harry Potter land in Legoland. So Legolands are owned by the Merlin Company, which is a UK-based attractions company. They've got a bunch of different ones here, a couple of big theme parks, but these Legolands have been their export, as well as some aquariums, but they're all over. There is one in Florida, which I think you guys have been to. There's one here out by Windsor, and they're really dotted all over, and they seem to announce new ones all the time. And so the one in Germany is going to get a Harry Potter themed land. And I'm just like, how does the licensing work? That of all they decided that, yeah, this is the one where it's not going to hurt our market share anywhere else, and we're going to let you do this creative thing. The Harry Potter Lego world, video games and stuff, has kind of existed on its own. It's kind of like how Star Wars has like quite a bit of Lego content on the side. Shout out to Lego Batman, fantastic film. But it's interesting, not only that, but there's going to be Harry Potter. It says accommodation, so I doubt that's a hotel, but it's probably Harry Potter themed rooms. So anyway, cool. It's going to be pretty cool. Like, I'm already thinking, like, by the time this opens, my son will be old enough to play with Legos. Yes, I say Legos. I know it's Lego, and I don't care.
Lego.
But yeah, what do you guys think about this expansion to the world of interacting with Harry Potter at theme parks?
I think it's cool. I think it's a fun way to do it. We have the Lego Harry Potter like video game, and we don't have any of the big sets because we have big sets of a lot of other Legos. I just don't have the space for them or the time commitment. But we have like Hermione and Harry as Legos and stuff like that. And so I think it's like a natural progression. And that's fun. Good for Germany getting something Harry Potter.
They deserve it. They've been behaving themselves for almost a century.
But the Lego Switch game for Harry Potter is actually how we got my son, Tommy, into Harry Potter. Because if his sister likes something, he's very like, no, I'm not going to touch it. It's lame. So he refused to, but he loves video games. So we got him playing Harry Potter. And he's like, okay, I'm going to have to read these books. And he freaking loves them. So that has a special place for us. We do have one set, but it's kind of like a smaller Hogwarts that kind of folds open. And it's not those massive ones. I can't deal with those. The pieces just end up everywhere. But I think it's cool just in the parks. Like, Lego has 10 parks around the world. So there's like 3 in North America, 3 in Europe, 3 in Asia, and 1 in Dubai. And so it is kind of cool to think of as like kind of a test if they're going to like a smaller land with a few things. I think it simplifies the IP quite a bit when they like transform into Lego style. So it doesn't it can be very immersive lands without having to be as expensive maybe or as intricate because it's all Lego-fied, so it's like this really cool thing that they've done that I think works in their favor. But I hope that Germany is kind of a test ground, and then there's more that gets spread around so that other people can enjoy Harry Potter in theme parks, because it is something that's only accessible to a small chunk of the population.
Well, and it's aimed at a younger audience. I don't know, Harry Potter is like younger, but it obviously skews older, and they're trying to get the new generations into it, as they get them to grow up with it, because it is slightly more a millennial and older Gen Z thing, younger Gen X thing. So it is a cool way to do it. Hopefully it is successful. I'm trying to look at where it's just called Legoland Deutschland. So it's in Günzburg. As someone who took 3 years of German, I am positive that's a bad pronunciation, and I'm so sorry to our German listener. Shout out, Grandma. Where is it?
Is Grandma listening?
No. It's a kind of in a weird spot between Munich and Stuttgart. But anyway, I'll be going in a few years if I can, and if I live here, obviously. But in other news, today is the release date of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets full cast edition. I saw there were a couple excerpts that come out, including Kit Harington of Game of Thrones Jon Snow fame being Gilderoy Lockhart. And I only listened to like 30 seconds of it, but I was like, oh, I'm kind of here for it. I thought about saving my credits and not getting Chamber because I just don't love it. But then I was like, I've got to have the whole collection. So I did spend my credit. I don't know when I'm going to listen to it.
To defend, we just read Chamber. I don't think because we took a little break from podcast because Mitchell was traveling and holiday time. And I want to defend that book. Still not the best, but it's not bad.
I never said it was bad.
Like, my daughter enjoyed it, and it introduces a lot to the series that is really important. Like, there's a lot of things that we don't hear about, again, till book 7, and I think that's pretty good, because we often question how much she knew, what was going to be what, and what when, but it does plant certain things that you're like, okay, at least she knew a little bit, or she was really creative in taking that and turning it into something more. So, I thoroughly enjoyed reading it.
But
the movie I did not enjoy watching.
You like spooky season too. It is kind of like a bit of a mystery as far as, you know, who's the bad guy, and it's a little bit of Halloween vibes, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe it's just
a little spookier.
I'm more of a Christmas guy. You're more of a Halloween girl. It's fine.
It's true. It's a little spookier.
But
mystery.
I do think like it's really good for what, like, considering like the sophomore approach that everything has to, right, as the second entry to any series, like there's a lot to deal with, right? You have to expand on without like overriding the first one, and then you have to kind of prep because it's kind of like, okay, this is going to now be a series. It's not just one-off books, so we have to flesh it out and like set things up for the future rather than just have one self-contained story, but it still has to be a self-contained story. And so, I mean, I think we often joke that like Empire Strikes Back is the only like second entry into a trilogy that was actually, you know, good or better than the first, at least.
Godfather?
So sure did good. Well, okay, I'll give you, no, not Two Towers, but I'll give you Godfather. But so much more often, right? That second entry is like, and so
High School Musical
I give it
2.
credit for being. I don't think I saw that one. You should be a little ashamed that you did. But I think so. It does a lot of really good things. But I think it is just the weaker entry into a really good series.
But I also appreciate that it isn't like forced. Like, I feel like she could have pushed relationships more and them growing. It feels still like age appropriate, and that it's not like a big leap into something. It's not like she jumped from 1 into like the craziness of 4. Like, there's like this, I don't know. But I will say, reading it again, I'm not saying it's the best book of the 7, but reading it again, I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. But I feel like the movies kind of tainted it a little bit. And I'm excited to see things that are not in the movie, in the show.
I actually think it's a book of massive opportunity. There are some great moments. The Death Day party's left out, the Valentine's Day thing. I think Gilderoy is a good character for a book like that. I actually think that's why the full cast edition doesn't really excite me, because it is that story that I've seen interpreted to the movie and didn't love. And even if it's my least favorite of the books, I thoroughly enjoy it. I don't skip it. But I think the TV series could do a lot to make it even more exciting. But I will still, kind of depending how good season 1 is, be like, ooh, can't wait till Prisoner. So it's my problem. It's amazing.
Well, we're gonna get to review the full cast edition, right? Once we get a chance to listen to it. I think that'll be 2 weeks from now. We'll do our review.
Over the holidays, we'll have some bits and times to listen, and then we can come back and we can talk about some of the performances and maybe some of the things that changed from 1 and everything. The other news from the full cast audio editions was they announced Shirley Bassey. I should have asked my wife. Anyway, Dame, I should add, she's a dame, which means she must be really good. And someone said she was the original inspiration for Joe for Celestina Warbeck, but she is going to be doing the singing. And I can only hear Jim Dale's version of those songs, so it was weird to hear it as a real song. But yeah, we do have a real singing voice for Celestina Warbeck, who is, again, a Christmas lounge chair favorite of Molly Weasley.
Well, and so at the theme parks, they have like a show you can go see Celestina Warbeck like sing. And it just seemed wrong to me, because in my brain, she was always like not a good singer, because it was just Jim Dale's version that I'd heard, you know. But it's forced me to reassess, you know, where she fits in, and where is she the Amy Grant of Christmas music in the Wizarding World? Is she the Celine Dion with all the, like, you know, classics and things? It's fun to think about, but I'm excited to hear her performance. I might have to go back and like find some other stuff she sang. prepare myself.
Yeah, go listen to that, Stephen.
I will, and I will report.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Christmas in the world of Harry Potter, because I think there is something magical about this season, and it's used for story things. It's used to get Harry away from Hogwarts, but it's also used to like enhance his character and the moments that he has. And so we're going to go in a random order. You're not going to know what's coming at you. And we're going to go book by book. And then we'll talk about some other ways you can experience Harry Potter in the real world. So Sorcerer's Stone, Jamie, what happens in Sorcerer's Stone on Christmas?
So Philosopher, Sorcerer's Stone. This is like Harry's first real Christmas for him because he's been at the Dursleys who treat him like crap. So he wakes up to gifts, which is odd for him. I will say before that, he gets to stay at Hogwarts, which freaking Draco makes fun of him for, but Harry's like excited because he doesn't have to go to the Dursleys. And, shout out to the Weasleys because our favorite part is them throwing snowballs at the back of Quirrell's head, which, spoiler, is Lord Voldemort. But he gets to hang out, have snowball fights with the Weasleys, play a lot of wizard's chess, and then on Christmas morning, he wakes up to gifts, which is new for him. He does get a 50-cent pence from the Dursleys. So
pence piece.
Pence piece, whatever. I had a really hard time. Did I say 50?
You said 50-cent pence or 50-cent piece pence.
I even wrote it down. Gets a 50-pence piece. I'm not even supposed to say cents.
Right.
Oh, just do things like America.
The euro, they do use cents, which can be confusing.
Yeah, but he also gets other gifts, but most notably, he gets the invisibility cloak. He doesn't know from who at the time, but it has a note that explains it once belonged to his father. And then they get to go to the hall. The hall looks spectacular. There's holly and mistletoe all around. And in book 1, it says no less than 12 towering Christmas trees. And then that escalates to book 3, where apparently there's always exactly 12 Christmas trees. I don't know why that is, for like the 12 days of Christmas or something, maybe. And then there's sparkling tiny icicles and hundreds of candles all around. And he gets to have like the huge feast. And then they have crackers, which I did look up the history of Christmas crackers in the UK because I'm very interested in that. I have that if we want to look at that. And so it's just a really good day. Ron stays behind. Apparently, the Weasleys' parents don't really love them around Christmas. They just go travel without the kids. And so it's one of my favorite parts of the books for Harry because he doesn't have to go to school. There's no pressure of all that. He just gets to hang out. But then what moves the story along is that Harry sneaks out under the invisibility cloak, and that's when he discovers the Mirror of Erised. And that's when he gets to see his parents for the first time, which is really cool.
Emotional. We should say that first Christmas is depicted in kind of like a picture companion book called Christmas at Hogwarts, which you both own, but I do not. I need to. It's cheap. But yeah, it's just that's the thing. Like, I would just want that out at Christmas. I think it's beautiful.
Yep,
and
I put it out at Christmas.
Look at just the inside cover. Isn't that cool?
And we should say film to movie differences because something every year, I don't think we're the only ones, but we say, nice snowball fight. We say Happy Christmas, Harry, Happy Christmas, Ron, which is from the film. So props to the movies.
Jamie
for
does
giving
it
us
perfectly in her little British accent every time. Christmas, Harry. Go ahead, Jamie.
Happy
You do it.
Christmas, Harry. I'm not going to do it right now. That's embarrassing. I can't do
Too
the
late, we
accent
got
like
it on
Mitchell can
film.
rap on the podcast.
We are here to embarrass ourselves. We can talk about some British and American Christmas differences. Not that, I mean, look, I've experienced limited.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you
British
about
Christmases.
that because the Happy Christmas versus Merry Christmas is weird to me because Merry is a term that we don't use for anything else in the United States, but we use Happy
And it
all
feels
friggin'
British.
time. Yeah, and then the British don't actually use Merry Christmas except when they're trying to sound American.
No, they
and
do.
Then, do they? Okay, tell
They
us
do.
more, Mitchell. What's the real?
The real.
I just think that they're both used, but it's not an overabundance of happy over merry. Like, maybe I'll ask Hannah.
Really?
Hannah, what do you think is the ratio of Happy Christmas to Merry Christmas for the British? Hannah says Merry Christmas way more than Happy Christmas.
Really?
Now, she is from Northern Ireland, but we both lived in London, and people wish you like, oh, have a Merry Christmas. Like, I've said goodbye to coworkers every day this week because, various people take off this different points this last week before we take off, and they will say, oh, have a Merry Christmas or have a. But
in all the movies, they say Happy Christmas.
I do hear it here, but I think Hannah's right. I think you do hear Merry more.
And as Americans, we know what's depicted in movies is real. That's how it actually is.
100%.
And she also made the point that we often say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So I think it's just like how they say Father Christmas, but like you don't really hear that here,
Really?
And maybe there's been some slight like commercialization that's intensified that. But
I was going to say
we'll have
that.
to
I'm
ask
going to call
Joe.
that a win for America. I think we've flooded the market with all of our Hollywood movies and media, and everyone else just accepted that it's Merry Christmas now.
We
So it's
invented the modern Santa.
British word that we say.
We did
I
invent
mean,
the modern
yeah.
Santa Claus.
Shout out to Coca-Cola.
You're welcome.
Sponsoring today's podcast, Coca-Cola. I'd say the other thing, the dinner's slightly different. They're more of a roast potato than a mashed potato. They do Yorkshire puddings, which have nothing to do with pudding or dessert, which pudding is another word for dessert here. Oh, Hannah said Yorkshire pudding's controversial. Okay. It's more of a beef roast, Sunday roast sort of thing. Anyway, they're not doing dinner rolls. They're not, stuffing is very different here. But yeah, the big thing is Christmas crackers, which are not a type of cracker. They crack when you open them, and they have little prizes in them or little toys, and often a paper crown.
Right?
So if you
I read the history?
Go for it.
So the Christmas cracker were invented in England around 1845 to 1850 by a sweet maker named Tom Smith. He was inspired by the French bonbon sweet, which are almonds wrapped in decorative paper. In 1861, he introduced the crackers that made a cracking noise when pulled, originally called bangs of expectation. While legend says the idea came from a log fire, like crackling, historians believe that Smith bought the cracking mechanism from a firework company. After his death, his 3 sons took over the company. And then Walter Smith introduced the paper hats and theme crackers like Victorian, even celebrities like Charlie Chaplin. And there were millionaire crackers, which you pulled them and they had real silver and jewelry inside. But today, the modern day crackers are what we see a lot, which are the paper crowns, small toy, and a joke.
Exactly.
And
or
they're
trivia.
coming more and more to America. Like you can find them pretty easily here now, where I would say like 5-10 years ago, it was a bit harder to find them.
Well, we were going to fly them there, and it turns out you can't fly them. Well, luckily, we were able to get some last minute on Amazon. So that was just a fun thing. That was something I thought our family would enjoy. I think the only thing that we did, not when Hannah came for her first one, but when her mom came, we did carrots and parsnip, which are part of their dinner. But I thought Christmas crackers are a fun, nice one that now I'll keep as part of my tradition. And it was fun to do and bring for the family when we went to Colorado. And then Florida, we did both.
And we did them last year, even without you guys.
Yeah, you did Christmas here.
Good job. I forgot Stephen was there last year. I'm jealous. Let's move to the Chamber of the Secrets. Stephen, what happened during Chamber of Secrets?
Well, Chamber of Secrets, even though it was a terrible, no, I'm just kidding. In Chamber of Secrets, we have very few students who remained at Hogwarts because, people were being, well, not killed, but petrified. So they all ran for the hills. There was actually a stampede to book seats on the Hogwarts Express. Hermione stays, as well as Draco, Crabbe, and Goyle, because you need them there to have some drama. The Dursleys send Harry a toothpick. And a note asking him to say if he can stay there over the summer at Hogwarts, which is real classy. That makes me feel better about every time I didn't give someone a present that maybe I shouldn't have. At least I didn't send them a toothpick or 50-cent coin. And then, so just the decorations say the Great Hall looked magnificent. Not only were there a dozen frost-covered Christmas trees and thick streamers of holly and mistletoe crisscrossing the ceiling, but enchanted snow was falling warm and dry from the ceiling. Dumbledore led them in a few of his favorite carols, Hagrid booming more and more loudly with every goblet of eggnog he consumed. Then, to continue in the merriment, they drugged Crabbe and Goyle and stuck them in a closet and took their hair. Then Harry and Ron drink Polyjuice Potion to turn into Crabbe and Goyle successfully, but Hermione, of course, turns into something else, and they go to try and discover what Draco knows about the Chamber of Secrets. So it was not only a festive holiday, but a fruitful one in their spy antics around Draco and finding out what he was doing. That's lovely, Mitchell. That's great.
Thank you. I went all out for the theme. Actually, I should take this moment to brag about my snitch that tops my tree, but it didn't quite fit into my frame. But I will now look. It's beautiful. I got that from... It's a little wonky. It's hard to keep straight, okay? But it's better than a star or an angel, okay?
I wish I could show you guys my tree. My tree is Harry Potter, but I try to do it really subtly, but it's clear that it's Harry Potter. And I do have little wands hanging on there. But I can never find the perfect topper. And I don't want something super obvious. But also the topper I have leans. I don't know what to do. I actually think that toppers kind of ruin the Christmas tree. I'm weird like that.
I think they could be basic or simplified. That snitch I got really cheap from Primark, which is known for being like the super cheap store. And when I sent pictures, everyone did say, "Oh, I'd like that one." And Hannah and I were like, "Let's just bring 5 of these," and we could not find any. Went to like 3 or 4 Primarks before we flew to Denver. The first year we had this, which was 4 or 5 years ago now. And unfortunate, couldn't make it happen.
And now we're gonna have to have 12 trees like Hogwarts. So I only have 2 right now.
I was gonna ask, don't you do the 2-tree approach still, right, Jamie?
I
My
do
wife
2
wants
trees,
to
and
do
then
that,
my
and I tell
kids
her it's
have
too much work.
individual. My kids have individual little trees, but I only have 2
Large.
kids. Steven has 4.
Yeah,
It's
we're
too
not doing
much.
that.
Your
No,
kids should be
Mitchell was
demanding
here
trees.
actually. We got our tree. We put up a fake tree first, but then my wife is from Brazil, so she's never done like a real tree. They often had like things that looks tree-like that weren't even, as good as our fake trees. She really wanted a real tree, and we found a good deal on one. So we got a real tree and brought that home. And there are pine needles everywhere now, and it smells
thank
great.
you.
And it looks pretty
If
good.
I
But
if I don't have
know if we'll do it
Hagrid to
again.
care for the real tree, I don't have the real tree.
I enjoy the clashing of tree traditions, like in the Christmas episode of Boy Meets World, where the Matthews use an aluminium tree, which used to be very common, and Topanga comes in and is like, "We need a real tree," and they go chop down a tree to
Can I just
satisfy her.
translate real fast? Because by aluminium, he means aluminum tree, those metal silver looking
You're
ones.
American.
What if I can't pronounce aluminum? No, I actually can say aluminum.
I
Dad
can't say aluminum. But I will say we did. Our aunt and uncle always had a real tree, so we had real trees around, but we've always had a fake tree.
We did
growing up.
one time,
We did.
and I just remember being an absolute mess. Didn't love it.
It must
The
have been
best,
one.
and it
I
just
don't remember. I don't think I was
dies.
around for that.
And they're not as lush. Anyway,
No, I
let's
don't remember.
move forward
But-
with the
okay,
Potter.
But the tree approach real fast, because Mom did that, right? For a good chunk of time. She did
Well, no,
two
we would
trees.
I don't
alternate.
remember that.
We would alternate.
Would we?
Yeah.
One year
I feel
it'd
like
be
there was
like a
one-
nice tree, and then one year it'd be like a family tree. Yeah.
Our
I
ornaments.
feel like there was a
I don't
while there
think
where
Mom
she was
did
doing like
too.
one in the front room was the nice one, and then in the back, like because we have like a living room and a family room. The family room that had all of our like little homemade ornaments
If
on
we
it.
That's
did
what
that,
I
it was
do.
They're
maybe
actually
one
pretty
time.
ugly.
Yeah, I think
So
Mom did that one time. I
started
usually
that,
do
you
3
know?
trees, and I cut down to 2 trees this year because Steven didn't come, and he ruined
Stop
Christmas.
killing the trees. Okay.
I haven't. Maybe I could still buy tickets, Jamie. You better get that 3rd tree out. Well,
Let's move forward to the Prisoner of Azkaban. So Hogwarts is under tight security. Of course, Sirius Black is on the loose. Harry had just found out about him. And even though it's not Christmas, one of the snow in Hogsmeade moment, which I think looks very cozy, even though it's not around the happiest of moments, and they depict pretty well in the movies, is Harry finds out about Sirius in a snowy Hogsmeade right before Christmas. And so, again, everyone has gone home because 2 years in a row, everyone is scared to stay at Hogwarts. Only 12 people are there
Safest place.
until Professor Trelawney shows up to make 13, right? So whoever gets up first dies. And you know what? It's funny. I always thought it would have been a clever twist if whoever did stand up first did die first. And J.K. Rowling never mentioned it, but it is not indeed correct. There's, again, 12 Christmas trees. A powerful and delicious smell of cooking pervaded the corridors. How? We don't know. That sounds fake. Many students left, but again, Hermione and Ron stay back with Harry. Harry, of course, gets a very important gift in the Firebolt, the fastest broom in the world, far outclassing the Nimbus 2001, which had only come out the year before. Broomsticks, I feel like, are like phones. Like, oh, I got the latest, greatest, and then there's a new one 6 months later. But that, of course, causes some personal tension because Hermione then snitches and is like, this might not be safe. Anyway, that's Christmas in book 3. Book 4, the students stay because they're trying to get their clubbing on at the Yule Ball. And it's funny because Yule, for some reason, the Yule Ball, like Yuletide, like it is very Christmas, like it literally is a Christmas ball, but it just didn't, that's not what stuck in my head early on.
I literally, my daughter, so I was wearing a shirt last night that says Harry Potter Yule Ball. It just is some random Harry Potter shirt. And she was like, what does Yule mean? And I was like, oh, it means like, it's like a Christmas thing. It's like Christmas themed. And but I had never processed that. Like I had never thought through the fact that the Yule Ball was a Christmas ball.
And it's not
Smart
like
one.
it is over Christmas, but it's not hyper Christmasized visually or anything. You know, I just realized I was looking for my Santa hat earlier, thinking I might wear it, even though it makes my head hot. And now I'm looking straight ahead and it's on a stormtrooper helmet in my eyesight. It really distracted me. Anyway, so everyone's here. Everyone's partying. The Weird Sisters are performing. There's beautiful decorations. Harry has to dance with Parvati Patil. And then he's a douche. He's not a very good date. Neither is Ron. They really show their teenage boy stupidity here. Hermione has a grand old time. Not much else that Christmassy happens. Is there gifts giving or anything that I'm forgetting?
It kind of gets overrun by that I can think of. And we also,
Yeah, it's all the lead up to the Yule Ball and having to ask girls and all that kind of stuff kind of takes over.
it's much more decorated because of Yule Ball. And this is the first time they describe the grounds and everything. But also we learn more about Hagrid. We kind of learn that Hagrid is a half giant at the Yule Ball.
My favorite thing about Christmas in the fourth book is actually Dobby. When Harry wakes up, because, Dobby is returned in this book, and he gives Harry his mismatched socks. Let's see, where is he? He's
Forgotten
Dobby, Harry
Dobby.
yelled. He wakes up and Dobby's like right in his face. And he's like, what the? And then Dobby apologizes, and he said, Dobby is only wanting to wish Harry Potter Merry Christmas and bring him a present, sir. Harry Potter did say Dobby could come and see him sometime, sir. So Harry, of course, like he said, just prod me or something in the future. Don't bend over me like that, creeper. He said, socks are Dobby's favorite when he got socks. And he goes, they made a mistake, sir, in the shop. Harry Potter, they're giving you two of the same. And so he is upset, but he'll mix and match them with others. So
Because Ron then
fun.
gave him his socks so he could mix and match it. It's so sweet.
That's true.
His Wheezy.
Dobby handed Harry a small package, which turned out to be socks that Dobby made himself. The left sock was bright red with broomsticks on it, and the right sock was green with a pattern of stitches. Like, how much more thoughtful could that be than knitting some socks for somebody for Christmas? I'm going to do that for you guys next year.
And that just goes to, like, the whole Dobby thing. His redemption really is in book 4, like, from what he did into. I mean, we still kind of like
he's
him at
just
the
a pain in
end
the
of
butt
2.
into. Yeah.
But yeah, in 4, he's just like a different character because he's lighter. He's working at Hogwarts. There's the whole spew thing. And it's just really sweet. And it's really stinky that he's not in the movie.
But you're right in that it does jump to, like, they go to breakfast and then all of a sudden they're having a snowball fight and getting ready for the Yule Ball. So there's not as much Christmasness happening. I will say, though, I think in the book that I remember feeling a lot more like Christmassy, like the ball, like it's described as having the band and them dancing and being out of breath. But the movie really took it in this, like you said, clubbing tone to the dance and everything.
Radiohead.
So I'm hoping with the series, the TV show, which is going to be, 6 years away or 5 years away at earliest, that we'll get to see a slightly more, Christmassy approach.
You would think with like a winter formal or something, that's how it happens at high school dances. They kind of descend into just more dancing and party vibes later in the night. Steven, I was going to have you do order. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to note this is the Weasleys' 4th Christmas without 4 of their children, and the Grangers' 3rd Christmas without their only child. But whatever. I mean, maybe it doesn't mean as much.
For the story. And Harry's not got invited back yet. They were busy. They were traveling.
Is Christmas just not a thing in the UK, Mitchell? They just don't care about being with family for Christmas? Is that it?
No, they do. But I will say, people, like, it is a little bit, it's not any lesser. It's still a really big deal. I think people treat like how big the gathering is. It's a little bit more immediate family. If you're a drinking family, which I'd say if you're a drinking family in the US, I'm sure alcohol is part of it in some way, but here it's really, really boozy. You're really drinking the whole day. And then, everything here is a little bit more boozy, I'd say. But I would also say Boxing Day is more important. So Christmas Eve, you might still go out with friends. Some things are still open. If you were going to like split your Christmas, like you're a couple and you're from the same town, you'd go to one family for Christmas, one for Boxing Day. Whereas I would have thought growing up, like, Jamie, if you wanted to, you could have gone to your in-laws for Christmas Eve and come to ours for Christmas and swapped.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. It's a little different. I thought about with Order of the Phoenix is that Hermione gives them planners that tell them to study for their OWLs. And that is like, I'm like, ooh, I'm forgetting all the little gifts. Like, what does Harry ever get for anyone else? What a cheap hoe. We know your parents left you that money, you Nepo baby. Sorry, Jamie, what else?
So in Order of the Phoenix, it's our first Christmas with Harry outside of Hogwarts. And that is because leading up, like the day before break, I believe, Harry has the vision dream about Mr. Weasley being attacked. And so they all get up out of bed and Dumbledore sends them to Grimmauld Place. So they get to spend Christmas with Sirius, which is kind of cute. Like he gets the house all ready and stuff, like after everything kind of calms down. They go to Grimmauld Place and they end up visiting, which is like one of my favorite parts of the books, which is also not in the movies, which makes me very upset. They go to St. Mungo's to visit Mr. Weasley, but on that adventure, they run into Lockhart, get to see how he's doing. Good for him. He's lost his mind, but he seems happy. But the saddest part of most of the books is that they run into Neville, and they see his parents, and it's just heartbreaking. Anyway, not to take away from the Christmas vibes, But they wind up back at Grimmauld Place, and it says in the book, he, as in Sirius, worked tirelessly in the run-up to Christmas Day, cleaning, decorating with their help. So by the time they all went to bed on Christmas Eve, the house was barely recognizable. The tarnished chandeliers were no longer hung with cobwebs, but with garland of holly and gold and silver streamers. Magical snow glittered in heaps over the threadbare carpets, and a great Christmas tree obtained by Mundungus and decorated with live fairies blocked Sirius's family tree from view, and even the stuffed elf heads on the wall wore Father Christmas hats and beards. So it's kind of cute that like they tried to make it as Christmassy as possible, even though the Black Home isn't really the warmest. And I think Sirius even is singing, right? Isn't he singing?
Yeah. He's
God
going
rest
through the
ye
whole
merry,
scene.
God rest ye merry hippogriffs in Buckbeak's room, which is very sweet. But gift-wise, they get the journals from Hermione. Anything else, Stephen?
So Harry does get, there's actually a lot of gifts from all of these years. But Harry
but
gets a set of books from Lupin that's titled Practical Defensive Magic and Its Use Against the Dark Arts, which he's very excited to use for the DA, which is, of course, going strong. And then he also got a homework planner from Hermione, and Tonks gave him a small working model of a firebolt, which zoomed around the room. And then from Ron, he got a giant box of every flavor beans. And then he, of course, got his Weasley jumper that year. Fun fact, though, I was asking ChatGPT, so let's assume that ChatGPT is correct here. But I was like, what did Harry give and receive for Christmas every year? The only year Harry gave anyone anything that's least noted in the books was in The Half-Blood Prince, when he gave Ron a book. It doesn't really say what the title is, and he gave Hermione perfume, which she laughs about. So that's the only year that he gives someone anything.
Doesn't he give Ron like a book that's like how to attract witches or something? No, Ron gets Harry
Fred
that.
and George give him that.
Okay.
And so Ron's like giving Harry tips though the whole time.
But maybe that's Hermione
I think that's
getting
her
Ron
birthday.
Chudley. Oh, okay. You know what? He was taking him shopping. He's stuck at the school. They won't let him out.
They didn't have Amazon. He couldn't just order things and send them to people's houses. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, no, then they go down to breakfast where Mrs. Weasley, of course, has prepared a nice Christmas breakfast. And then they get ready to head off to the hospital where they go see Mr. Weasley at the hospital and things. So there's not as much festivity-wise, except for, running into Lockhart and all that fun.
It does seem like Harry gets Ron a broom compass, a Chudley Cannon's hat. He gets Hermione the theory of numerology and sweets, and he gives Mr. Weasley fuse wire and screwdrivers. So a few more, but weak sauce, Harry.
Okay.
We know Mommy and Daddy love you, honey.
We've seen it.
In The Half-Blood Prince, Harry spends time at the Burrow, but the looming threat of Voldemort overshadows everything. Fleur and Bill are there. Fleur is butting heads with Mrs. Weasley. Scrimgeour shows up with Percy, who has abandoned the family, and Mrs. Weasley cries, and he tries to trick Harry into, being a PR machine for the Ministry. Yeah, it might be the saddest Christmas.
Percy does actually even return his Weasley sweater that year. He sends it back like a little.
I want a Weasley sweater.
Yeah, like a little douche. That's all that you can really say. Yeah, those things cost like $80 at the theme parks. Like, come on.
But just how messed up is it for I guess maybe Scrimgeour didn't know the relationship of Percy with his parents, but to use their child to be like, we were just neighborhood and your son wanted to see you, and the hopes that Miss Weasley gets so excited.
I also kind of wish we knew more about the argument and how it started, because all we really hear is we know that Percy's storming out and he's got food on him that the twins and Ginny all take credit with throwing at him. But I'm really curious as to who said what that triggered that. I'd love to see, inside of that gathering.
We need this in the show.
Yeah, they can add that in for us. That'd be great.
Now, is at the end of book 5, is it the end of Christmas when Snape comes and is like, I got to teach you occlumency? Or is, yeah.
I can't remember. I do know in the movie, it moves faster. It's immediate.
Yeah.
But no, I do think he is at Grimmauld Place, and I think he does tell Harry, hey, we're going to start these lessons. Good luck.
And then
but I think
in the 6th movie, isn't Christmas when the attack happens on the Burrow?
The beautiful scene.
No.
The fire attack.
Lies.
I like it for what it is. I do not like it as it does not have anything to do with the book, but I do like that scene. I love the way it's shot. It's very Jamie.
Yeah, so no Hermione in book 6. It is called A Very Frosty Christmas because It is quite a negative experience. Ron asks, he's like, do you think Hermione's really dating McLaggen? Because they're all in their feelings in this book, which is actually quite fun and everything. And Harry has a nice chat with
Okay.
Lupin. Yeah,
Well, and in Phoenix, it does say on the very last day of the holidays, something happened, which is where Snape comes and tells him he needs to teach him occupancy. So it's not on Christmas itself; it's on the last day of the holiday.
Yeah,
So
well, I think we're over just the Christmas break anyway.
yeah, and I got you.
Which it is, the day after Boxing Day is a little sad. You have to start thinking about real life because I'm just not a big New Year's guy. So maybe that's a me problem. All right. In the Deathly Hallows, Harry and Hermione visit Godric's Hollow on Christmas Eve. And you get they hear the little, the people singing in the church and people are about. And then Harry gets to see his graves. It's all very emotional. And then they get attacked by Nagini because they got seduced by
Bathilda Bagshot.
Bathilda Bagshot. That's right. Anything else in Deathly Hallows? Wow, what
really, they got a great present that year because this is that Christmas that's when they get a big key to unlocking the mystery around the Deathly Hallows. So it was a present in disguise. It was disguised as a murderous snake trying to kill them, but they were able to figure out hey, here's where we go next to find out where this dang wand is.
They gotta see Hermione gotta see a destroyed body or something. I can't remember exactly what she discovers, but when Harry visits his parents' graves, that's one of my favorite parts of the books and the movies. I love that scene and the way they did it. In the book, they have Polyjuice Potion. And I don't know if it's just the movie or also in the book, they don't even realize it's Christmas because they've been popping around and Hermione's like, oh, I think it's Christmas because they can hear the people in the church singing and stuff. But in the movie, I actually like that it's the actors and it's just a really sweet moment that right before a crazy moment. But I was going to say there is a moment, it's really sweet because Harry, they're longing for home and comfort, and Harry recalls what Christmas is like at Hogwarts in the book and how much he misses it. And I really like that moment too. But it's just the last kind of breath before, and there's a snake trying to kill them.
And then
Harry's wand.
In Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, just kidding, I don't care. Let's talk about so that's the events. It is always it's actually really well used, in fact, to the point where it's a little weird, the positioning of people on Christmas at times, but you gotta do what you gotta do. It's a story. You can go on, Stefan.
Sorry, one last thing on Deathly Hallows is that happens on Christmas Eve, right? So Harry's recovering Christmas Day and finds out his wand's been broken, all that happens. But it's that night on Christmas night, technically into Boxing Day, when Ron turns and they get rid of one of the Horcruxes. So it is kind of, like I said, there's give and take there of good things pushing their mission forward and then, bad things with death and destruction and such.
Oh, and locket porno.
What now?
When he opens the locket and then Hermione and
That's
Harry
true.
are
You
topless
get the
making out.
semi-nude scene. Yeah, that was a little weird. It was a big deal when that came out. Everyone was freaking out. But sorry, Mitchell.
In real life, there's a couple of places you can kind of experience Christmas at Hogwarts. First of all, at the Harry Potter studio tour. I think this year they're calling it Christmas in the Snow or something. But I'm trying to find a price, and I can't.
Yeah, check the price. You can't afford it, Mitch.
I feel like I should go sometime, but I'm going to have to do some Googling, but I think it'd be really fun. And they they change up some of the sets and they add some decorations, and you can do a full Christmas dinner in the Great Hall, which, I don't know. I should have asked for that for a birthday present or something. That would be.
Do they still do that though? I couldn't find that. Does it say that on the site? Maybe
or is it just a special event? I just got a Charlie horse.
Maybe some years they do it and some they don't, but I've always wanted to do that.
Well, maybe they don't do it anymore.
Let's do it one time.
You guys come out here and then we'll go to Legoland in Germany. Just do it all at once. Maybe they don't do it anymore.
I still haven't been to Epic.
Yeah, this says it's a Christmas in the Snow. It's from November 15th of 2025 to January 18th of 2026.
Yeah, but just mentions
They transform it into the Yule Ball set, and they change the Gryffindor Slytherin common rooms and Diagon Alley, but it does not seem like they do that dinner anymore. I will do some additional looky-looing here. Generally, it's about £60 to go into the tour. So I'm sure for a dinner they were charging a couple hundred.
Yeah. So this says that ticket prices for Hogwarts in the Snow are £56 for an adult, $45 for a child, and that the Christmas dinner experience is £275 per person, which includes meal, drink, butterbeer, and a souvenir gift.
Yep.
I want to go. Let's go.
I'm in.
Sure, it's the best meal of your life.
It better be for 275. It's crap.
Now at the theme parks, Hogsmeade is year round, has a bit of snow on it. That's just how they've decided to depict it. But during the holidays, they do add quite a few lights and decorations, and they do change the fireworks and projection show on Hogwarts to a Christmas at Hogwarts projection show, and they use the same music that you hear in the films. I've been lucky enough to be there at least once for it. I have a picture of me and Jamie having some hot butterbeer in front of this display, and it is pretty magical. At Epic Universe, they did decorate the Paris bit a little bit Christmassy, but it didn't feel all that especially magical. And I think Diagon Alley they do, but again, I think Hogsmeade is where you want to go if you want to feel some Harry Potter Christmas crossover in this real life.
It's always snowy at Hogsmeade all year.
Yeah. Even when it's 110 degrees and 110% humidity and you're dying, there's snow on
I
those
think it does
rooftops,
something,
so
though.
it
I think
makes
maybe
sense.
it makes you feel a little bit cooler.
Well, psychological.
But get hot butterbeer. I
Just
know I've
plays
said it
with your
before.
mind.
But
Yeah,
go at Christmas
hot
time
butterbeer is the best.
and have the hot
butterbeer.
and a pumpkin
It
patsy
is.
at the same time. Delicious.
I got a butterbeer
Overpriced
last
delicious.
week, and we forgot to get the hot, and they have butterbeer in more places now. And I was like, I can't believe how much that inflation has hit butterbeer. You know, the
They gotta be like
tariffs must be
15 bucks an hour or
outrageous.
something, right?
Don't get me started on the butterbeer ice cream. Didn't it used to be like soft serve, and now they just give you a cup, like a pre-made.
Yeah, it's weak.
Oh yeah,
cup.
the pre-made little cups. Yeah, they don't even serve it to you anymore.
I do
Come
still
on.
have some butterbeer, like it's like a butterbeer, or it's not chocolate, but like a chocolate bar of butterbeer, and it is so sweet, but it is
Yeah.
pretty good. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other way Harry Potter and Christmas have been intertwined, or Hanukkah. Shout out to Anthony
Well,
Goldstein from Ravenclaw.
I've seen on social media a lot of people fighting whether or not they're Christmas movies or Halloween movies. And I feel like this with any Christmas movie. It's whatever the hell you want, whatever makes you feel like it's Christmas. If your family grew up watching Harry Potter on Christmas, then it's a Christmas movie. So I do think a lot of people do, though, associate the movies with Christmas time. And it is nice that pretty much in each book, Christmas is part of the story, and there's pretty big plot things that happen around Christmas, which is a good opportunity and probably in general because it's when Harry's on break from school. But yeah, it does give some Christmassy vibes.
It's
To me,
definitely a
not.
Christmas movie.
Well,
There's
Remember
always
when you-
fun wintry scenes.
Steven, remember when you brought your wife here for the first time and you made her sit and watch like all the Harry Potter movies with us? And
Yeah,
I don't
we
think she
talked
had
about
seen
this.
Harry Potter, and she thought we were like,
It was epic.
and she was
So she
she's so quiet and shy. Like, and I'm sure like our family's a lot. I'm sure it was very overwhelming to meet us. Like she just sat there and watched the movies. Like with this poor girl. I'm like, you want a snack? Because were you guys married yet? Your husband or fiance is forcing you to watch Harry
probably
Potter.
not.
but a lot of people
that
like
first time she came for Christmas, we got engaged a month later, but yeah.
people like have their movies that they watch at Christmas. Like some people binge Lord of the Rings every Christmas, or you just maybe have some time to sit around. So Harry Potter is a good one for people to do. But let's hope. I don't obviously want the first season to come out around Christmas unless they move it up to 26. But if one of the seasons came out and that was like a Christmas binge, that would be fun. I guess we can touch on that, is that Netflix currently has a deal to buy Warner Brothers. Like it is Netflix. Now it's got to go through several regulatory bodies, and Paramount already has said they're going to step up their bid. Those are the two main ones. Comcast was the only other entity that we know publicly talked about it. But if Harry Potter goes to Netflix, they've said they're going to keep theatrical releases from Warner Brothers. Obviously, it wouldn't apply to Harry Potter, but that they would essentially keep the brands independent in some way. And Harry Potter is technically an HBO show. But there is a world where it's a Netflix show, and hopefully they maintain the production quality and they don't Netflixify it, but it could drop on Netflix. Like if Netflix owned that IP, unless someone said you have to keep HBO Max open because you can't have so much streaming market share, we could be binging Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban Christmas 2028.
All at
Or
once.
9.
Just drop it all at
No,
once.
we'll look at Stranger Things. It might take them 10 years.
Well, yeah. Or they could do it in batches. They're like, we're going to be 3 episodes for Thanksgiving, 3 for Christmas, and 1 for New Year's.
That's true. That's true. And you have to go to theaters. You don't have to. You can go see
see
the
the last
finale
piece.
in theaters, which
Are
I'm
you
actually
going?
excited about. I
Did
am
you buy
trying
tickets?
to. I have to get a babysitter. There are still some tickets available, but it's getting close here. I got to figure it out. But I love.
That could be
I'm
cool.
a very big
Oh,
Stranger
fun.
Things stan, so Don't get me going.
I'm gonna
But
shut up.
I
I
am
do think
concerned. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be weird, but I'm just hoping they keep it as HBO. And the production is already being done by like the current Warner
Yeah.
Brothers. So that's also interesting. Netflix might have done some of that better. Who knows?
That's true. I just don't want them to blow it up and be like, okay, we'll now continue, keep the agreement with Leavesden, like keep going with what it is, keep the same team in place. Obviously, you're going to make a bunch of other changes at Warner Brothers, but like this is something that we don't need some sort of revamp. Well, we don't know. But yeah, just I don't trust.
there's
I would
something
trust
that
Warner Brothers more than Netflix.
Yeah. Well, and something that works in our favor though, because we've talked about before, just like the insane amount of like sunk cost that's already been put into this, like building the town. We're talking about like it's gonna be like $1 billion or something. So it's almost kind of like now you gotta make it to get that money back. Otherwise, you're just taking on an insane amount of debt that isn't actually fruitful. So
I will
hopefully
say
that means
that does happen in these giant acquisitions is that people are like, oh, we'll write off that 8 million and that 8 billion in debt. Like that's too real because money's not real to these people.
Warner Brothers and HBO and all that as well. Like this is your chance to like do this right, make it good, make it worthwhile, and then you can expand it to so much more. Don't screw it up because there's so much you could do spin-off series. But if they just kind of throw it away or they just kind of make it into this thing of like either trying to rush it or trying to cheapen it because, you know, some people have spent too much money and that's why they have to be bought out. But don't make an example of Harry Potter. Let's make it as good as we can. Hopefully.
Yeah, they should see it as a way to grow more, even though it's funny because Netflix said, they're like, oh, we grow, we don't acquire. Well, you're a liar. But hopefully they want to be able to, you know, create more and expand off of this. But it's going to be wild to see what ends up happening because Netflix has never owned. They've talked about branching out into like experiences with that, but they've not really owned another business. And so as a conglomerate, they're going to be a unique beast. But let's hope that they treat this as a golden goose, a possible way to expand, because everything else they've done, they haven't really franchised out anything very well on their own yet. But I would trust Ted Sarandos as a pure like entertainment business person over David Zaslav, who is an idiot who essentially lost all of Warner Brothers' money and is still going to make out like a bandit when they sell it. I digress.
It's good executive. But when you talk about Golden Goose, it's one of them, right? Like when you look at like the properties that they'll be able to bring over, you've got DC stuff, you've got Game of Thrones stuff, right? You've got Harry Potter. What are other big ones? I mean, those are kind of your big.
They're trying to turn the
big tent poles.
They're trying to turn all those around. Think about it. Game of Thrones ended on a whimper, and House of the Dragon is good, but it hasn't exploded under the scene. And DC ended the Snyderverse and is only a couple movies into the gun era, and then now Harry Potter's revamping. It's really interesting that none of those are really in a position of strength. So it's like, do we trust Netflix to turn those into strengths for the intellectual property that they're buying? They're no doubt, you know, 3 of the bigger tentpoles that they have, if not the biggest.
It's true. You think Paramount would do it better?
I don't know.
They
That's
screwed
true.
up the Frasier reboot. So
I know. And the Halo show, that's actually pretty good. They were just a decade late for relevance. It is interesting that Warner Brothers produces a lot of shows like for Apple and stuff, which I don't think Netflix would really do. So it'd be very interesting to see. Like Ted Lasso, this Ted Lasso reboot. Anyway, I digress. Did you guys have any other thoughts on Christmas or Harry Potter?
No, I'm kind of hoping now that we'll get a Christmas episode from each season where we can just really go dive deep on what happens for Christmas.
All the descriptions, it does make me wish that I was a little Witchered wizard, and Christmas sounds really cool. Yeah. I wish I was a Witchered.
Well, it's funny because like I like Christmas at home. I like being with our family and just hanging out, chatting, eating, watching football, watching movies. Like that is really important Christmas to me. But I'm like, it'd be irresistible to stay at a boarding school with your friends and have a little bit more freedom and time off, and definitely staying for ball. I think I'm like, what years would I stay back? I don't know. It's interesting to think about. Also, Steven, you say you showed your wife Harry Potter. Remember the first time I brought Hannah back? She watched The Family Stone with us, which is about a man bringing a woman home and it being disastrous. Good job, Mitchell. But
I think we watched that too because that's a Jamie and Denise like favorite every Christmas.
Good thing Steven and Laurice weren't there. You guys might have switched spouses. It would have been really weird.
We were enough years apart, but you know, it's hard when I'm such a great Luke Wilson. That's a compliment, really. But yeah, I think it is interesting to think what you like about Christmas. And then like last year we did Christmas on the beach in Portugal, and that was cool but different. And, you know, we obviously have to mix it up because of how our family is designed. But I think Christmas at Hogwarts, I might leave you all for it.
Like my children. Just
Mitchell, well, we may not let you come home for it. We'll just abandon you at school and we'll travel to another country without you, so you don't have a choice to come with us. You'll
Okay,
just-
Arthur.
with the no money we have.
Maybe they learned that lesson with Bill early on. They're like, we're going to reject you before you reject us to all their other children. See, and they just leave town now for Christmas.
I was thinking, you know how British shows, they do like a Christmas special? You can't really do that with Harry Potter because it's such a specific narrative, but it's kind of sad that you can't. Because a Christmas special that is the other important part of British culture, is that at night BBC has like a very, like whatever their biggest show is, they're doing a Christmas special. There's some things that are on every year, kind of like, you know, Grinch and Reindeer or whatever are on every year in the States. Like that is a big deal here. Anyway, we're really going this time. Thank you for joining the holiday edition of the HPTV podcast, celebrating all things Harry Potter and Christmas. We will be back in the new year with an episode about the full cast edition of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And give us a follow on all socials at HPTVPod, or email us at hptvpodcast@gmail.com. Jamie, send us away.
Peace out, snitches, and go Broncos.